Hello everyone, welcome back to CSE Core Concepts. In this video, I am going to explain you or demonstrate you how to draw an object diagram. Now, an object diagram comes under the category of your structural diagrams, that is after your class diagram. Now, basically in the class diagram, which I have discussed in my earlier video, we have seen that we show the relationship among the classes apart from explaining what does a class contain. Now, object diagram is actually a screenshot of the instance in a system. Okay, so they are basically the class diagrams only, the way class diagrams are represented, but with some instance means as if there is some data. So with the snapshot of a data, we are going to explain the object diagram. So they will clear you that what the class values, what type of values it can contain. So object is what? A specific instance of a class within the system. And a classifier is a group of elements that have some common features such as methods, attributes, and operations. So first let us understand some of the notations used in the object diagram. So these are some of them. Let us get started with them. So the very first thing what we need to show here is the object, or what we call it as a instance. So when a classifier is instantiated, the object, it creates an entity. So you can see we are going to take a rectangular box, and on the top of this box we are going to partition this box into two parts. Okay, so and the top part will contain the classifier name or the object name. Okay, object means, let's say for example, if we are talking about a class department. Okay, so here the classifier will be, object name will be marketing. So marketing is an instance of a department class. Okay, similarly HR is an instance of a department class, and the attributes associated with it, so what values it can have, or the values of the department class, like department ID. So attributes will contain, say, ID 101. So that way we can show it in the box. So we are going to show the attributes and the values and the object specification. Next comes the link. Link means the association between two objects. So there can be multiple type of relationships between two objects. Let us say first of all, this is a solid line. A solid line represents a link. So I have a class called as an college class, and I have a student class. So these are the names of the classes. Now for a college class, let's say I have an instance called as college A. So college A is the name of the college of type college, and student roll number is, let's say, student number 3030 is an instance of the student class. So you can see the attributes here of the college class is number of students, city, number of departments, and faculty strength. So in an object diagram, you are going to represent, in the class diagram, we used to represent only the attributes. And in the object diagram, we are going to give some values so as to show what type of instance can be created. So let's say I'm talking about college A. There are 1200 students in that college. It belongs to some A city, and there are 9 departments in the college with a faculty strength of 130. And student objects, so let's say the name of the student is A, department is computer science engineering, and he is in 4th year. So these values makes what is difference between the object and the object diagram and the class diagram. Then comes the next relationship is the dependency relationship. So dependency between two objects, right? So one will be dependent and one will be independent. So any change in the definition or structure will cause change in the other. So this relation is a unidirectional relation, that one object is dependent on the other. So there are various types like abstraction, binding, realization, substitution, usage. There are various types of dependencies. So let us understand the use dependency. Let's say we are talking about the usage dependency. So I have two classes here. One class is the player class, okay, and another class is the bat class. So for a player class, let's say player 1 is an instance of the player class. The attributes of the player class were sports, gender, and age. So for this player 1, the value of sport is cricket, the gender is male, and age is 23. And bat class, what type of bat he is using? Let's say mongoose bat, which is weighing 1.25 kg. Height is 78 centimeters and width is 2 inches. So we are showing the use dependency with a dotted line and an arrow that represents that player class is dependent, or you can say it is using the object of the bat class. Similarly, another relationship is association, which is how it is different from dependence is that here the arrow, there is an arrow with a solid line. Okay, so there it was a dashed arrow or a dotted arrow. So association is a reference relationship between two objects. Let us say, for example, I want to show a relationship between two objects. The relationship can be either unidirectional or bidirectional. So let us understand that I have an order class and a customer class. So for the order ID 101, I am saying, let's say customer ID 201. So order ID generated is, this is the order value. Okay, what values of order can be? This is the order number. So order ID is 1213 and business order, which has been generated by a customer named A and his phone number. So the object of the order class is associated, that every order is associated with some customer. Okay, this is what is the relationship, that every order is associated with a customer. Another relationship is the aggregation, which is also called as a has a relationship. So it is represented with a hollow diamond, okay, and it is a type of association only, but it shows a parent-child relationship or is a relationship. It shows a parent-child type of relationship but does not confuse it with inheritance. Okay. It occurs when the contained objects do not strongly depend. Understood? They are dependent. One object is dependent on the other, but not as strong that if the bigger object dies, then the other will die. Let's say you have a library and a book class. Okay. So library contains books. Okay. But it does not mean that if the library closes or if the library ceases to exist, the books will also be discarded from this world. It is not like that. Books will remain. Okay. Some other library. So library objects, let's say at a particular location. Okay. At a particular location, I have, let's say, a library with the books. Let's say books are to, let's say 2100 books are there at a particular location in the library, and one book called as Concept of Physics, written by H.C. Verma, which has 502 pages, it is there. So now book is independent. Okay, book is independent of the existence of the library object, though it is showing a relationship that book is in the library, fine, but it is independent. If the one particular library, let's say library 1, if it closes, that does not mean that this book will be removed. Okay, so it will remain in this world. Understood? Second is another relationship is a composition. This is a type of association where we can say that the child relationship cannot exist if the parent does not exist. Okay, so the difference here is that it is shown with a hollow diamond aggregation, and composition is shown with a filled diamond. So let's say human and leg. Let's say, right? So if let's say human called A has male, having gender male, and age is 23. So I can say leg cannot exist if a particular human is not there. My leg cannot exist if I am not alive in this world. Okay, so this is a composition, like contacts and contact book. I had given this example in a class diagram also. So let's say if the complete diary of my contact book gets erased, all the contacts will also get automatically erased. Understood? So there is no relationship. That is a strong association. Sorry. So that means what? If the parent dies, the child relationship will also die. Whereas in case of aggregation, it was not so. Understood? If the parent dies, although the child belongs to that parent, but if the parent class dies, that does not mean the book class will also cease to exist. So let us understand one diagram. This is a class diagram for an order management system, right? Where you can see here there is a class called customer having the attributes name and location. Both are of string type, and they have, these are its methods, that is send order and receive order. Another class is the order having attributes date and the order number. And there are two methods, confirm and close order. So when the order is placed, it will confirm, and if the order is been served, they will close the order. Now the relationship is 1 to n means what? One customer can have multiple orders, right? And order is associated with, order is dependent on the customer, understood? So if the customer is not there, order will not be generated. Fine. So order is where, on the other hand, order is a super class. It has generalization, that is there are two types of order, special order and normal order, right? These two are the subclasses. Now this is a class diagram. Now if I want to draw an object diagram derived from this class diagram, okay, so this is just the explanation what I told you, that I have the following objects: customer, order, special order and normal order, right? Now, if I want to show the object diagram, what am I showing? I have the customer. Okay. Now, this customer has associated with order. Now, I will show some instances of the order, right? This is what is an object diagram. Instance of the order means, let's say O1, O2, O3. These are the three instances of the order class. Now, the order number is 12, order number is 32, order number is 40. Now we have seen in this relationship that the order can either be a special order or a normal order. So here we can say that for this is a special order, right? So order number O1 is a special order having number 20. Similarly, order number 2 is a special order and order number 3 is a normal order. So S1, S2 and N1 are what? The instances. So the customer object is C. It is an object of the class customer. It is associated with three orders, O1, O2 and O3. Now these orders are having some are special orders S1 and S2, and one of them is a normal order N1. So customer has three orders with three numbers 12, 32 and 40. So you can see 12, 32 and 40. These are the three orders. And for orders value 12, 32 and 40, which implies the object have these values for a particular moment, okay, not all through the life cycle of the computer, of the system. After certain time, when a new order is placed by a customer, that particular moment the system has a different value, okay. So this is just a glimpse of the system at a particular instance of time with the value. So same is true for the special order number 20, 30 and 60. If the different time of purchase is considered, if I am taking a snapshot in the evening time, let's say, then some customer might have placed the order whose order number might be 50 and it is a special order having value 25. Okay, so the values will not remain stagnant, but the structure of the class and the relationship will remain stagnant all throughout. So let us say, for example, you have a company, right? So company has department. So you can say D1 is the instance, D2 is the instance, D3 is the instance. So D1 name is sales, D2 is production, D3 is HR. Now employee ID1, which name is ABC, he belongs to the sales department. Then let's say name customer support, he belongs. Now department production has again two types, that is the customer support and the QA department, understood? So this is at a particular moment of time, what are the values. Then you can have other example, like let's say this is the class diagram for a writer and document. So there is a writer and he is writing certain documents. This is the relationship. So if you want to show an object diagram, how will you? Let's say writer class ka, you are going to take one instance, let's say Ravi, understood? And here he is drafting one document, it is a rough copy, and this is, let's say, a master copy. So he is into two instances, let's say division page number 59, these are the attribute values of the document, and these are the attribute values of the master document. So the instance Ravi is writing this. Now after some time, if a new writer is writing, then the values of the object diagram will change. But the relationship and the classes will remain same. The attributes will remain same. So where are we going to use this class object diagram? First of all, when you are implementing a system, so when you want to give a practical representation, like what are the examples? Generally, I have observed that when students demonstrate a project, They will always give some dummy values xyz, a to b, and something, but it is not actually correct. Whenever you are demonstrating or whenever you are showing the object diagram, you have to give the real values just to demonstrate or show an instance that what type of values this variable or attribute will contain. So that is real examples you have to show. Communication. Okay, so if you want to communicate, if you want to have discussion, interaction, what values can it contain, it may not contain. Test case design, very important. When you are testing your system, then you cannot test your system using some dummy ABC values. You have to give some good real values. So what values your system can contain? If the testing team only sees the object diagram, it can understand that how the classes are related and what values of the object can be given. And of course, for debugging, troubleshooting to find out what values, if you have, let's say, done client side scripting for certain restrictions, then you can give some values and find out whether your system is working fine or not. And of course, for training and documentation, to document what are the things, how your what are the values, and training purpose to explain to the users that what type of values can your system contain. So I hope you understood what is the difference between a class diagram and an object diagram. But in this case also, class diagram is the basis. So first, if you are done with your class diagram, then it is very easy for you to derive the object diagram from that class diagram. And it is also an essential part, because in this way you can demonstrate that how does what values your objects will contain. Thank you. Please, if you like the video, please like it, press the like button, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe CSE Core Concepts. Thank you.